So, texting and driving. We have all done it before. We have all texted while we're in the car. We've all answered a phone call, and we typically even go as far as getting on our phones to find a new song that we want to listen to. While most of the time we think that this is like a very quick action, getting on your phone just results in taking longer, going through social media, and just distracting yourself while driving. So I want to talk today about why texting and driving and more distracted driving should be banned in all states in the United States. And so first I want to talk about what distracted driving is and understand why that is dangerous, and then I would talk about the consequences of distracted driving and ultimately why it should be banned across the United States. So NDD, which is In Distracted Driving, is a campaign that came out a couple years ago, and it is educating people on more than just texting and driving, but what distracted driving is. And to them, distracted driving is any activity that diverts the person's attention away from the primary task of driving. And so there are three main types of distracted driving, and the first one is manual, which is anytime you take your hands off the steering wheel. So anytime you have your phone in your hand while you're driving, that is manual distracted driving. The next is visual distracted driving, which is anytime you're taking your eyes off of the road, and anytime you're looking at your phone, that is visual distracted driving. And the third one is cognitive distracted driving, which is anytime your mind wanders from the activity of driving or what you're supposed to be doing on the road. So anytime you're focusing on a text, thinking about what you want to send to someone, and going through Instagram and looking at what people are doing and wondering why they're doing it, where they're going, why they're so dressed up, that is cognitive distracted driving. And so that is why texting and driving is so dangerous, is because anytime you're using your phone, you're not only committing manual or visual or cognitive, but all three at the same time, which is extremely dangerous. So now that we understand what distracted driving is, I want to talk about the consequences of distracted driving and texting and driving. So many people think that this is just a very quick action and is harmless, but there are actually some shocking statistics behind what distracted driving can do. So according to David Strayer, when you are texting and driving, it is quadruple the risk and is equivalent to drunk driving, which drunk driving, as we all know, is one of the worst things that you can do as a driver and one of the most irresponsible things you can do. So now that like texting and driving is being compared to drunk driving just shows how scary that this really is. And In Distracted Driving said that usually when you send a text while you're driving, it can take up to 5 seconds, which when you're traveling on the highway, going to and from a place, that is equivalent to your car driving itself, which is scary to just even think about. And the National Safety Council came out saying that 28% of the crashes in the United States are from texting and driving. And Distraction Gov actually came out saying that 14 states have already prohibited texting and driving. So people are already seeing the effects that this is causing across the nation and started to ban it. So if some people are banning it, why aren't all the states banning it? Because it's a universal thing that it's scary, it's dangerous, and it's causing a lot of lives to change. And even in Texas, where we live right now, there's a ban on texting and driving. So ultimately, now that we understand that while we've grown up thinking about texting and driving, the action of distracted driving is even worse, and distracted driving is awful, and it hurts lives, and you're taking your hands off the wheel, your eyes off the road, and you're not even focusing on the act of driving, which is just like unfathomable to think that you are driving and operating a vehicle while doing all of those things that you should be doing, you're not. Ultimately, it's dangerous, and all states should ban distracted driving, which includes texting, talking on your phone, having your phone in your hand in general. And that is why so many companies have Bluetooth in their cars now. And while not all people have it, and it is unfair to people that can't afford to have Bluetooth in your car, like if texting is that important, you can pull over. And people that have Bluetooth on your phone, like I think that is completely acceptable, because Bluetooth has been made now where if it is on your steering wheel to where you can press yes, answer a call, and not take your eyes off the road, that is one thing. And if you cannot have the opportunity to have that car, then a phone does not need to be in your hand, because it is just ultimately dangerous.